So you want to play in your first tournament, huh? Well, I've got 9 quick tips for you guys that I've learned over the past couple of months that I think will help prepare you guys for your first tournament and ultimately help you understand what to expect the day of. Let's get right into it. So today we're out here at Lenoir City Disc Golf Course in Lenoir City, Tennessee. This is designed by Dustin Koppel, a local pro. Shout out to Dustin, thanks for designing a rad course. Got some good like baby's first water carry stuff out here. Definitely helps you learn. We're gonna be playing the shorts today, and I am gonna be trying out a new video format because it's windy and my microphone is terrible. So let me know if you enjoy the format. Let's get into hole 1, guys. So the first tip that I have for you guys is to go ahead and educate yourselves. Go and do some research on the difference between C tier, B tier, A tier events and the touring events. Just learn a little bit about how they function and how they flow and the ones that are around you. I also think that it's really important that you guys research the rules. I'm going to leave some links in this video that really helps me learn the rules of tournament play because they are important and there are rules to tournament play. I think it's really helpful to you and to all of your card mates if you go into a tournament already knowing the rules, knowing what you are allowed to do and not do. So there will be links in the description of this video to help you guys learn that. Educate yourselves, do some research. Tip number 2 is simply going to be the tournament is going to feel different than you going out and casually playing disc golf. It just is going to feel different. And there are a couple of factors that go into that. You're going to be playing with strangers, making new friends, but playing with strangers, so other people are watching you. It's not like a casual round where you get to throw a second shot just to practice. It's one shot every time. By the book, these are the rules, and that just feels different. And if you're playing in a sanctioned tournament, you are going to get a rating if you're a PDGA member, and the weight of that rating can feel kind of heavy at times. So just know going into it that playing in the middle of it, it's going to feel different. You're probably going to have some nerves, and that's okay because other people are feeling that too. So the third tip is going to be smart golf pays off. Smart golf is essentially breaking down the holes into, okay, what is required for me to get even par on this hole? Dividing holes up into different smaller shots so that you are more likely to score par is an incredibly smart way to play golf. And honestly, if you're playing MA2 or below, then you're probably going to do really well if you're just shooting even. Some ways that can help you do this are going to be by disking down. Instead of using a distance driver in the woods off the tee to try and bite off as much distance as you can, maybe go for a mid or a putter just for placement and rely on your upshots to just score even par. Because the rest of the field is probably going to be playing very aggressive. But I guarantee you that if you just break down the holes, you're probably going to end up doing really well. Smart golf also means sometimes you kind of have to take your medicine. You might just have to lay up that putt instead of actually running it just to get your par. If you have a circle 2 birdie look, but the putt is pretty dangerous, it's usually smarter to just lay up, take the easy shot, and go ahead and get your par score. There's nothing wrong with laying up. There are so many times in the past couple of tournaments I've played that if I'd simply just laid up and taken my par, I would have avoided a double bogey or a bogey. I think that's a great way to play smart golf because chances are the rest of the field is going to be trying to be aggressive. And just by laying up, you might gain 2 strokes on a lot of people just by laying up that putt. So, smart golf pays off. Tip number 4 is if the conditions are lame, you're still going to play. Unless there's like crazy thunder and lightning or a tornado warning, you're probably going to play in the rain and you're probably going to be playing in high winds. So, just know that going into the tournament that the weather isn't always going to cooperate. You need to prepare yourself for that. Bring umbrellas. Bring rain gear. Bring what you need to succeed. So unless the weather's dangerous conditions, you're going to be playing in all sorts of conditions, which is motivation for you to go out and practice sometimes in those conditions. Can't hurt, right? So tip number 5, guys, is one that you would probably already do, but you do need to go to the course and practice before the tournament if time allows for it. You need to go throw multiple shots and figure out which lines you like, which ones are the highest percentage. And while you're doing that, imagine the different weather scenarios. Imagine if it's windy, imagine if it's rainy, so that way you kind of have those decisions already in your pocket. So day of, if the conditions do end up changing, you already have your shot selection kind of in the back of your mind. It can be extremely helpful so you aren't always having to make decisions on the fly when the weather changes. I think it's also important to note that the way that your practice round goes probably isn't the way that your tournament is going to go, just because of the nerves and, well, a bunch of different factors. And that's okay. You're still setting yourself up for success by going out and figuring out what you would like to do on each hole. So tip number 6, guys, is that putting is going to be scary. It's going to be terrifying during your first couple of tournaments. If it's not for you, awesome. It is for me, and based on the other people I've talked to, yeah, it's terrifying. You probably aren't going to putt as well as you normally do during a casual round during a tournament, just because of the nerves. This is where I think that when you're practicing your putting, finding a very consistent stroke, a motion that is very repetitive for you to repeat putts, really can help you succeed during the tournament. That way you can rely on that stroke when the nerves are starting to kick in, and you can tell yourself, hey, I have made this putt before. These are the motions I need to do to give myself the best chance for this to go into the basket. I think it's also important to have the mindset going into the tournament that you are going to miss some putts. You just are. They might be 10-footers, they might be 20-footers, they might be circle 2, but you're going to miss putts. I personally have missed a couple of 10 to 12-footers during a tournament because even that distance feels so much further when you have the added pressure of the tournament on there. So having that consistent stroke can really set yourself up for success, but also just know that you are going to miss some putts and you have to be able to come back from that. And when it comes to putting, we're going to circle back around to that smart golf tip, guys. You don't have to run everything. I think a lot of people get really caught up in the mindset of, I have to birdie every hole, I have to do this, I have to do this. You don't have to run everything. Laying up is a smart play for par, even for bogey. It can be a really smart play. And with that being said, if you're confident in your stroke, don't be afraid to give putts a run. That's fine, but you don't have to run everything. So be confident, but be aware of your options when it comes to putting. Tip number 7 is a little bit of a weird one, but it's something that I've found to be pretty true in the tournaments that I've played so far. And that's that your PDGA rating, the number that you get based on how well you do during your rounds during a tournament, that rating doesn't always translate to skill. It's kind of fun before a tournament to look at the registration page and see the ratings of the different opponents in your division. But a player that's highly rated in your division doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do really well, and someone that's lower rated in your division does not mean that they are going to do poorly. Chances are you're going to show up to your first tournament and there's going to be people playing in your division that are ringers. They're just a lot better than you probably imagine that person should be for that bracket. And the truth is, someone that can throw really, really far or putt really well can have bad days and their rating can suffer, and then they can compete in lower brackets if they want to. I've seen several examples of this. In my most recent tournament, I was playing in the MA3 division, and there was a guy on a 552-foot hole on my card that got like edge of circle 1 almost. He got into circle 2 on a 552-foot hole. Now, according to the PDGA guidelines, they're like pirate rules essentially. That person probably shouldn't be competing in that division. However, their rating allows them to. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. That's their own decision. And chances are that person is probably going to be going for everything and trying to ring up everything. So if you play smart golf, you just wait for them to mess up. And they probably will. So it might take you a couple of tournaments to figure out, which bracket should you be in, and that's okay. I wanted to start out playing MA2, and I quickly realized that I didn't have a chance of probably being in contention in MA2. And so my rating does allow for me to be in MA3, and my last tournament, I played in that, and you know what? That's where I'm supposed to be. I felt much more comfortable in that division, and I felt really good being there. So just know there are probably going to be people that are way better than you expected, and people that might end up doing worse than you expected. Your rating does not necessarily equal skill. So keep that in mind going into your tournament. Tip number 8 is probably like a little bit of personal preference, but keeping score is really easy. So just volunteer to do it. It's kind of awkward when it's like, okay, who's going to keep score, and everyone mulls around. And it's like, no, just do it. The PDGA live scoring app just updated, and it fact checks itself, which is super handy. So no more of this, okay, we're using live scoring, I'm keeping a backup score on UDisc, but the pars are different, or the pars have been adjusted, and now we've got to do some weird shenanigans here. No, just volunteer to do it. PDGA live scoring, super easy. If you've got a smartphone, just do it. Volunteer to do it. Do the right thing. Do it. The last tip I have for you guys is just go out there and have fun. You're throwing expensive frisbees with a bunch of other people that like to throw expensive frisbees. don't take it too seriously. It is a competition, and I get that. You're gonna feel the weight of that. You're gonna meet new people on your card. If those other people are willing, joke around with them. Have fun on your card. It helps take a lot of that pressure off. It's definitely no fun when you have someone at like a C tier tournament on your card that's just taking it way too seriously, you know? Like, we're out there to have fun and throw plastic. So have fun doing it. And also, guys, when it comes to having fun, bring snacks. Back 9 snack time is like a real thing. If I'm hungry, I'm not gonna have as much fun. Even if the people around me are fun, you need to fuel the machine. So bring snacks with you. A lot of these tournaments too, they don't provide lunch. They give you a lunch break if it's in one day, so you'll have to pack a lunch or go into town and get lunch. So make sure you're just prepared, bring food so that you can continue to have fun with your new friends. So those are the tips that I have for you guys today. I hope that you do sign up for your first tournament whenever you feel ready. They are super fun to play in. You're definitely gonna meet some new friends, and you're definitely going to learn something almost every tournament that you play. Hope this was helpful for you guys. Please like and subscribe to this video and leave a comment down below if you have any tips that you think would be helpful for people to hear for their first tournament. Until next time, have fun, get better, and stay decent. Okay.